meeting of the Durant City Council. At this time, I would like to ask Skip Robinson with the Cavalry Baptist Church to give us the invocation, please.
Accepted the responsibility, your Heavenly Father, of guiding us and taking the page out of your own playbook of helping us to do things decently and in order. We pray for your presence to be upon us. We do not deserve this. It is by your grace we accept it, and we accept it with love in our hearts to you. And we pray in the uplifted name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please face the flag for a salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now we're just going to meet down here. Oh, we got to do roll call first. Let's do the roll call first. All right, please call the roll, Cindy.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Scheer.
Here.
Councilmember Fuller.
Here.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Here.
Mayor Tucker is absent.
All right, now we're going to meet down here for a proclamation and then a presentation of check from Auto Spa and a first quarter employee awards. If the folks from the Cavalry Baptist come step forward, please. Yeah, y'all come. They don't want to see us. All right, this proclamation is for the Cavalry Baptist Church Centennial Anniversary Celebration, April 26th and 27th, 2025. And I'm going to read the proclamation now. Whereas in April of 1925, a group of Durant residents with a growing concern for the religious life in their community gathered for a revival meeting at the Southside Park in Durant, led by Reverend G.R. Naylor, state missionary, assisted by Reverend W.P. Weeks. And whereas Cavalry Baptist Church, located at 7th in Louisiana, was organized on April 30th, 1925, with 35 charter members. And whereas Reverend W.P. Weeks was the first pastor of the church and led a building program completed in 1929, the first printed budget of the young church was $1,650. And whereas in 1949, about 25 years after its organization, a new brick worship center was built with a seat about 400 people. The small frame church was then utilized as Sunday school space. During its first 20 years, the church received some 1,600 members into its fellowship. And whereas the church has always had a strong emphasis on youth, in September 2005, plans were made for a cabin to be erected at Falls Creek that would sleep 100 people. Much of the labor was done by church members to help reduce the cost of the cabin. Preachers, teachers, missionaries, physicians, lawyers, and many faithful servants of other professions have been the result of Cavalry's ministry to youth. And whereas in and around 2007, a Young at Heart group was organized. Senior adults meet on Tuesdays for a time of fellowship while they play various games and activities. And whereas in 2012, after the local food bank, Loaves and Fishes closed, Cavalry started its own. The Cavalry Cares Food Pantry is run by volunteers of the church. And whereas a former parsonage was dedicated as a missionary house on July 29th, 2018, it is being used by world missionaries who are on furlough and by others when needed. And whereas early in 2024, Cavalry partnered with the Garcia family to have a Hispanic ministry they started meeting in the fellowship hall on Friday evenings, and have added a meeting on Sundays as well. Now therefore I, Mike Simulescu, Vice Mayor of the City of Durant, Oklahoma, do hereby proclaim April 26th and 27th as Calvary Baptist Church Centennial Anniversary Celebration Weekend in the City of Durant. Witness my hand this 8th of May, April 2025. I think next up is our presentation. The stories are presenting a check. Please y'all step forward. Would you like to say a few words?
I'm always lost for words. I'm Bobby Story, and this is my wife, Melissa. We are trying to encourage people to get involved and try to help us get this animal shelter built here in Durant. It's much needed. It's been needed for many, many years. So we did a little fundraiser, and how much money did we raise?
We raised like $750.
Yeah, and then we put in the balance and took our check up to $2,000. And we're trying to encourage other businesses, organizations, get involved, help us out. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So welcome.
Give that to Pam, she'll take it.
Hey, Dan, you want to help me give out the awards?
Hello, I'm Stephanie Gardner, and the Stories have been longtime friends and clients of mine, and so we help with some of their marketing and community projects. And when they had the idea, to kind of get behind and try to start raising money for the animal shelter, I was so excited about it. I thought that's a great idea. So just to kind of piggyback on that, we're going to be moving forward and kind of help kickstart the animal shelter fundraising campaign that the city is going to be doing. So our goal is to raise $500,000 for the new animal shelter, and so we were really proud, for this donation to be kind of the first little drop in the bucket for that fundraising campaign. Like they mentioned, we did open it up to the community to donate, and so through a GoFundMe, $740 of that $2,000 was raised by our community. And so we've actually had QR codes and signage made for the auto spa locations that we'll leave up. That way, if community members come through and want to scan the QR code and continue donating to the animal shelter fundraiser, we're going to keep that going. So it's not just a one-time thing. And then we're going to be kind of leading the charge and trying to reach out to other fellow businesses and community members who are passionate about building a new animal shelter and challenge them also to start donating to this fundraiser. So we'll be talking to you.
There were also items.
Oh yeah, so this started kind of back in the winter, and we did a blanket and food drive as well. So a lot of community members not only donated monetarily, but came by our locations at both the Auto Spa and Texoma Pit Stop, dropped off blankets, dog food, things like that. And so we'll do that, from time to time as well for tangible items that the animal shelter needs, but then also keeping those monetary donations going. So, yep.
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
All right, now we are doing our quarterly achievement awards. First one is Mark Bellamy for 5 years of service to the city of Durant.
If you have family here, you can bring your family up too.
Yep, everybody pictures. Next up is Jonathan Gibson, 5 years of service to the city of Durant. Step forward. Another 5 years of service to the city of Durant for Thomas Robertson. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. This is a bigger one. 10 years of service, Joshua Mullins. Come on up. Sorry.
My girls are softball, so.
Sorry. Stand over here. Congratulations, sir. Numbers just keep going up. 15 years of service, Richard Ezel. I think I mispronounced your name, sorry.
That's all right, it happens.
I understand. All right. And another 15 years of service to our city clerk, Cynthia Price.
I'll check everybody's hand.
Oh, you dropped it. In the middle. All right, now we're up to 20 years. So 20 years of service to the city of Durant and a plaque, Russell Harkey. Thank you, sir. Congratulations. All right, y'all stand over here. There's just one name I mispronounced. Nobody can pronounce my name here, so it's okay. Calvary. That's how you pronounce it. Calvary. That's how you pronounce it. That's where I'm from, I guess. All right, let's move on. All right. We did our presentations. Now it's time for the consent items. Has everybody had time to review consent items? Take a quick glance and see if there's anything that you want to review. or take out of the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent items?
Second.
A motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes. All right. Seeing that we have no items out of the consent agenda, we'll move to information items. Number 3, February 2025 financial reports and sales tax.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think everybody have the report. The first 3 report is our general fund, capital improvement, and DCUA. And this is for the February, and the February report that represent about 67% of the fiscal year completed. And for the general fund, that our revenue is $12,350,572. That is excluded transfer into the fund and fund balance. And for the revenue, that are 6.78 over the budget. That's not including that we transfer in and the fund balance. And for the expense is $12,606,279. And year to date, the total reflects a positive balance of $721,392. And the second page is our capital improvement report. This report just shows the progress of our current project, and this is for the information only. And the third report is our DCUA, which means the Durant City Utility Authority. The DCUA indicate the revenue of the $9,908,546. And the expense is $8,366,654. So the year to date is $1,541,833. Is there any question? Okay, the next one. This is our sales tax breakdown for the month of the March. And the total revenue is $1,751,969.29. And it breaks down to 2% for our general operation, 1% for the capital improvement, 0.5% for the infrastructure fund, and 0.25% for the economic development. That is the fund 110 that used on for the economic development. And last one is 5/8 of the Durant Independent School District. This is for the high school. Now the next page. Oops. Next page, this is the 10 years 1% sales tax revenue, the spreadsheet. And then the March collection, you can see that compared to the prior year, the same month of the March, it's 6% increase. And over the 12 months comparison is negative, the 1.4% decrease. And the next page, this is I did some changes. This is our 2% sales tax revenue compared to our budget. You can tell that but over the past few months, I say we budget really conservative. So you can see that our revenue compared to the budget is still got a $161,208. I cannot say increase, just more than what we budgeted it. I hope this information is helpful. Is there any question?
On a whole bunch of that, I mean, I'm speaking up a little, but
Mhm.
Like you said, we already budgeted conservatively,
Yes.
so it's holding right now.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right, now we're going to move on to 4, which is administration. 4A is consider approval of resolution authorizing application for Choctaw Development Funds for matching funds in the amount of $35,000 for Durant Trails and Open Space Project R 2025-02. Anybody?
I'll speak for that one.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. So this is really a housekeeping item. Choctaw Development is applying for these funds, so they have to have this resolution in order to do it. This will be to finish out part of the trail, the Crooked Smile Trail, that we just had the ribbon cutting for this afternoon. So this will go towards helping to complete that project.
Any questions about that? No? No questions? Do I hear a motion?
Make the motion, we approve 4A.
Second. A motion is second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes. All right. 4B, discuss and consider approval of Durant Animal Shelter project estimate from Theorem LLC in the amount of $1,676,006.07. And I think this is actually, it's not that amount of money. It's not the whole project. It's just the architecture, engineering, and design, which is a total of $144,664.07.
That's correct.
So $144,664.07. So it would be just the beginning of this process. Okay. Discussion.
Do we
Somebody
not
wanna-
have to go out for bids at this amount?
You have to bid the
Architect-
construction part. You don't have to bid professional services.
So, Councilman Shear, essentially the amounts here come in under the bid amount. Of that 144,000, almost 92,000 is for architecture and engineering, which clearly falls under professional services, which is not subject to bid. The remainder of it, even if considered part of the construction project, you have to go out for bid for anything over $100,000 on a construction project, pursuant to the Oklahoma Competitive Bidding Act, which our ordinances have adopted. So this wouldn't fall under the Bidding Act. Now, the project as a whole, once you get past the architecture and engineering, and if you guys approve this tonight, then at some point in the future, Theorem would come back with a solid design, and then that would go out for bid for the construction of the project. But for the architecture and engineering, it's a professional service not subject to bid.
Shane, would you like to come up and address? We've been having meetings for some time. There's a whole group of us. Never turn the mic on. There's a group of us, including Chief Petty, Deputy Chief Clark, Paul Cottrell, Philip, myself. There's been a whole group working on this to really come up with what we thought we needed and to fit the growth of Durant. So I'll let Shane tell you the particulars.
Sure. I'll reiterate what you just said, actually. So we have had several meetings over the course of the last several months. One in trying to select a site that was prudent for this facility, and then having a series of meetings with the police department, the actual animal control staff. We've had some meetings with them, really trying to find out what the needs were of this shelter that would meet the city's needs now and for some distance into the future. I don't have the numbers for how many animals they're currently taking care of. I know we've been through that in some of our meetings in the past, but this facility, so through that series of meetings, we were able to come up with some data on what they needed. This facility is right around 5,000 square feet. Excuse me, I'll kind of run through the front to the back. I don't know if you have a floor plan image in there, but I could run through, that'll work, yeah. So we do have a general lobby for the public to come. Off of that lobby is our administration space for the staff that would be out there. In that front area as well is an adoption center. So there are a couple of adoption rooms there that they call Get Acquainted rooms, so that if someone were to come and look at a cat or a dog and they're wanting an adoption, there's some space there, an interior room and an exterior space for these potential families to have a little one-on-one time with the animal that they're considering adoption for. We do have a cattery in the facility to take care of any felines that they may bring in and their medical care, so they have their own room for medical care for the felines. And I think we've got around 20 some odd kennels, if I remember correctly. Again, I didn't bring the numbers in front of me. We do have a staff area for laundry, equipment and services for the facility itself, staff restroom with shower in the event that they get themselves into a real pickle and need to shower at the facility. Moving into the sort of center of the facility is where the canine kennels are. I think we have around 50 total between their quarantine areas and the general population areas. At least half of those do have their own outdoor run, so there's indoor and outdoor access for the dogs. There are also some exterior play areas where they can take dogs out that may not have direct access to an outdoor area. And then in the rear of the facility, we have a small room that is called a public surrender room, so that should someone pick up an animal, should they take in a stray animal, this gives them a place to bring that animal to the city for them to drop it off at this center and get that animal ready for adoption. We have a small veterinarian area in the back for them to provide medical care for all the animals that do come in. They can do that on site versus having to take them to a vet, assuming that it's something minor that the city's staff can handle. And then we do have a quarantine room in the back where all initial canines would go when they're brought in to make sure that they are healthy before they get moved into the general kennel area. We have a secured parking area in the back for staff to be able to park their vehicles. It's used also as a bit of a portico area where they can bring the animals in their trucks into a fenced-in area and bring them into the facility there versus having to do that in some sort of public setting or having to bring them through the front door. I think I may have just run through it for you. So currently, I know in your package it showed a proposed site location. So this is on city-owned property that is a part of the huge area that the city already owns, that the sports complex is attached to. It is directly off of Highway 78 there, so you would not have to go through the sports complex. This is just going to be a little bit due north of the sports complex. So looking at about 2 acres, yeah, where that image, yes, I'm not sure what that image is, but yes, you're in the general area there. So it's about a 2-acre tract that they're looking to cut off of that to place the animal shelter on. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Any general questions that I might be able to answer?
think we can all agree, we need a new animal shelter. It's not in question. And tonight, we're just taking the first step towards getting that done. So we're not voting on $1.6 million, we're voting on a little over $140,000 to move the process forward. And the longer we put it off, the longer those construction costs go up. So the last thing we want to do is prolong this process any longer than it has, I think.
Do you have a ballpark budget on what it will take to staff, operate, and maintain this facility?
Well, right now we have 3 ACO officers. I have moved since I started the ACO department is under the police department now. So Chief Petty and Deputy Chief Clark has been spending a lot of time out there. We just plan to add 1 right now. So the maintenance costs will increase, but you know, we'll have to find it in the budget to do it. But right now, we just plan to add 1 full-time. That we've already met with her, interviewed her. She has a lot of experience. She's just moved here from another state, she and her husband. And we wanted to get her in place to help update the procedures and the policies that we're going to need to run a shelter like this.
And I think we usually, a lot of places have a nonprofit that runs the shelter, correct? Is that a plan to do here, or is the city going to shoulder this burden by themselves?
Well, we could look at that. I mean, we could look at all, you know.
Because I mean,
whatever this board wants to do.
That's a question.
Yeah.
I'd like to have an idea of what it's going to cost to operate and maintain this facility.
Think of that.
I mean, I think the good news is it's going to take us quite a while to even tackle this project, let alone have it finished and ready to go. So we've got a lot of time to work out the details. What we do know is we need a facility regardless.
Agree, and I know most of you have probably been out to, I don't even call it a shelter. It's actually deplorable for the animals, for the people that go out there, for our people that work there. It's a safety and health concern for anybody that goes out there. I was shocked when I moved here and saw what it looked like. And Councilwoman Fuller is right. The longer we wait, the higher the costs are going to get. It's definitely not going to get any cheaper. So, like she said, this is the first step to move forward.
I think we've had a lot of community engagement on this. I mean, both sides, obviously. However, if we have a plan in place and they see the city's committed towards moving towards this, I think it will give the buy-in some of the community needs to be a part of this. If there's nothing for them to be involved in, they're not going to come to the table. But if they see that we're making progress and we have something on the table, I think it incentivizes these nonprofits to step up. But they're not going to step up with what we currently have. So let's give them a reason to join us, you know?
That's true. And with people like Bobby and Melissa and Stephanie willing to step in and help, we've had other groups also already, you know, contact us to say, hey, you know, I want to get in on this. So there is a lot of interest and people that want to partner with the city on this project.
Are we following right now, like our city ordinance, everything it states that we're supposed to do with the animal shelter? Are we following the ordinance that we have in place right now?
As far as I know, we are.
Okay.
So one of the questions I had is, we had talked about this previously, is, you know, are we enforcing the laws that we currently have, or is this just going to exacerbate the problem that we have? And I had Deputy Chief Clark give me some information about that. He said we've had, in the last year, 800 calls for service, 29 citations, 3 warnings, 5 repeat citations, and then apparently 63 of the addresses were repeat offenders. So I think there's been some changes there when it comes to animal control. It's kind of dispatched differently from what he was saying, and then that we're starting to get a little bit better when it comes to that. But I feel like a lot of times that, you know, just running and walking through town, I don't feel like our enforcement is very good.
Our enforcement has gotten a lot better since that has been put underneath the police department. I got so many calls when I first moved here, and it was a year Saturday for me, and the last several months I've gotten no complaints and no calls. So they're doing, it's doing what we wanted it to do by putting it back under the police department.
Shane, I don't think you have to stand here the whole time when we're discussing. You can sit down, because I
If you
think
don't have
unless there's
anything
any
else
more
for me-
questions about architecture or
If you don't have
planning, I think
anything
you
else for
could,
me, I'm
you
I'm
could
happy
probably
to
sit down. I was just sitting here, I was like, he doesn't have to
And
stand there.
I want to say, just to Councilman Shear's question earlier, this is a design based off of the needs that we gathered from our series of meetings. So this will still go out. We're here as your architect. This will still go out to public bid. There's an entire bid and construction process that happens, after we get done with our part. So I did want to clarify that. This is not a project that has been bid. This is not even at a stage where a bid could be put together, other than our initial estimates of knowing what's going into the building. So just want to clarify that.
I do have one question. This is not your ability, but how many of these have you put together before?
I've actually, so a municipal animal shelter, this and one more will make 2.
Okay.
But we have done some private kennels of about this size, actually. In the past, we've done one in the last 10 years, I think. So this would be the second facility of this size that we've done for animal.
Okay.
Does anybody want to speak? Have anything to say about this step up?
I just want to say that, this is one of these out of sight, out of mind deals. We don't see it, it's bad. You need to go see it. It's not good. And we need to get a plan that'll allow us to try to build toward a solution. So I encourage you to, let's get the ball rolling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So y'all remember, because it's been a while, because you guys have been here longer, because I remember previously we had a discussion about shelter, and I mean, it was obviously less than what we're seeing here, or potentially seeing here. I guess we don't really know exactly what it is, but approximately. Did you guys feel at that time, what challenges did y'all have? Was it a funding thing? Was it a motivational thing? What would y'all feel when y'all went through it before?
Money.
All of the
Always the money?
It's always the money.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you we don't need a new one, because we do. I've been out there and seen it myself.
Right.
And I will say that I had a citizen contact me about 2 animals that I'd called Pam about, and they were taken care of. They were kind of vicious acting dogs in a neighboring house next to our convenience store out there, and they come out and took care of business, and everything was good. So.
Also, just for the record, Mayor Tucker has a letter. I think everybody may have a copy of it there, where he is expressing his support for the construction of the new animal facility. I'm not going to read the whole letter, but it is he does, so we'll enter that into the official record as well.
And I might add, us getting a plan together, showing the community that we're putting this together. Maybe, like they were saying, it's going to draw more interest and more money in too. So, because we've got to have that. We've got to have money.
I think the biggest thing is we have to stop living in a mentality of depravity and poverty, right? It's always we don't have money, but what we're not doing is we're not taking into consideration that Pam's already looked at the numbers and is already budgeting and is already figuring out how this fits in, and knowing we've got community partners willing to come to the table. We need to stop saying money's the problem, right? Because I know our community would rally behind this, because everybody knows it is a dire need for this community. So, I mean, like I said, this is just step 1. We have a long conversation ahead of us about the details of this, about how it's going to be ran, about how we're going to fund it, but we have to take the first step.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of dire needs, so I'm not 100% sold. It's kind of a difficult one, but think about it here. All right.
I'd be willing to say that some of the problem probably comes from outside of the city limits. Therefore, I mean, the county, but don't imagine the county is willing to step up and
that is, I have not had that conversation. That's a conversation we could have, but how do you judge it? I mean, people come into the city and drop animals off, but then people from the city probably also go out in the county and drop animals off. So that would be difficult to measure, but it is a conversation that we could have. As Councilwoman Fuller said, we've got a long ways ahead of us before we get, there's some details we still need to work out, but I don't know how you would really measure that. Philip and I were talking about it today, and I said, well, what do we do for people that, use the C&D site? Well, they have to show, verification of some sort. So that may be something we could do when I'm talking about updating processes and procedures for this new shelter.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I would like to take the first step and make a motion to approve the professional services and surveying so we can get going on this process.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
No. Motion passes. Number 5, new business. Do we have any new business? Seeing that there's no new business, we are going to enter hopefully an executive session. Number 1, consider entering into executive session to discuss collective bargaining agreement between City of Durant and Local 3061, International Association of Firefighters Union AFL-CIO CLC bargaining agent for fiscal year 2025 to 2027. This executive session permitted under 25 OS 307B2. Make a motion to enter an executive session.
Second.
Please call a roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes. Executive session. I make a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Durant and Local 3061 International Association of Firefighters.
Second.
A motion and a second. A roll call, please.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes. Motion passes. All right. I guess new business technically should be after that, right? Wouldn't it? Usually it's the last thing. Okay. I see. Okay. All right. All right. Well, then I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes. All right. Now we move on to the Durant City Utilities Authority. Please call a roll.
Trustee Miller,
Here.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Trustee Fuller,
Here.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Here.
Chairman Tucker is absent.
All right. Order of business, number one, consent items. Please take a look at the consent items. And once you feel comfortable with the consent agenda or items, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve consent items.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes. All right. There are no items out of consent. There are no information items. 4A, administration, consideration and possible approval of the purchase of a pump and motor from City Electric Motors Pumps and Supply in the amount of $184,500 to replace the high service pump motor number 4. Come on up.
Hello.
Tell us about the pump, sir.
So currently we have a pump that it broke. To repair it, staying with Fairbanks Morris would be $200,000 to just fix. So this would get us a motor and a pump to replace the whole thing for about $185,000. $184,500.
Same specs and everything on the motor.
What was that?
Same specs on the motor and pump.
Oh, yes, correct.
Can y'all scroll down on that? I don't have that in front of me.
That pump and motor's been in there 20 years.
Okay.
It's
got
well
its service
past
life.
its.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. Yeah.
All right.
And this includes all installation. So this is any freight, anything, everything's included in this price.
And
how many of these pumps do we have?
Of this specific brand, or just this
high
size? Oh, there's 4 pumps at high service. This would be the redundant, but the two of those, one by themselves can't even do enough to supply the water for the city. So right now we have 2 of them running while this is all being processed.
I see. Didn't we replace some of these recently or earlier? Didn't we buy some pumps like this, or is that a different thing that we approved previously?
No, that was for.
That was wastewater, correct?
That was wastewater.
That was wastewater.
Okay.
That
All
was
right.
approved a month and a half ago.
That's right. 'Cause I feel like we had
Is there a
discussed
warranty
something
on
similar.
these pumps?
1 year.
Yes.
1 year.
1 year.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, I see it now.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 year warranty.
Yeah, when the high service was built, they put in 4 pumps. You have to have redundancy because it's a DEQ requirement. So we have 2 pumps that'll do 3.5 million gallons of water a day, and then we have 2 pumps that do 10 million gallons of water a day. This is one of them 10 million gallon a day. The 3.5, they're obsolete. I mean,
Right.
we'll never see that flow again in the city of Durant. So what we will be doing is eventually working towards and replacing those pumps with
10 million.
larger ones
Gotcha.
that will actually help us. But in order to do that, we'll have to change piping and everything else, so
Right.
it's
A
a very
bigger project.
extensive process, so this is critical.
Any other questions?
I make a motion to approve item 4A.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there any new business to come before the Durant City's Utilities Authority this evening? Seeing that there is no new business, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Next, we've got the Durant Airport Authority. Please call roll.
Trustee Miller,
Here.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Trustee Fuller,
Here.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Here.
Chairman Tucker is absent.
Consent items. Consider the approval of the regular minutes of March 11th, 2025. Once you've reviewed the consent items and feel comfortable, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve consent items.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes. Seeing that there's no other things, is there any new business to come before the Durant Airport Authority this evening? Seeing that there isn't, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes. All right. Last but not least, the call to order the meeting of the Durant Development Authority. Please call a roll.
Trustee Miller,
Here.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Trustee Fuller,
Here.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Here.
Chairman Tucker is absent.
Only item on the agenda is the consent items, which is the approval of the regular meeting minutes from January 14th, 2025. Once you've reviewed those, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve consent items.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes. All right. As there being no other items on the agenda, and unless there's any new business come before the Development Authority this evening, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu.
Yes. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. See y'all